Hey everybody, I'm Ryan McCaffrey with IGN. I am joined by IGN UK's wonderful Keza McDonald.
Hello.
We have convened here at Gamescom in Cologne, Germany, where Microsoft's big announcement for Xbox One this week is Fable Legends. You had the unique opportunity to go to Lionhead Studios in your neck of the woods in the UK to actually see the game in motion. So what exactly is it? What is it all about?
Well, the persistent rumour of a Fable MMO has turned out to be not entirely right. I mean, this is an online Fable.
Right.
It's a Fable for 5 players.
Five.
5 players.
Five's an odd number. Like not literally and figuratively. How do we get to 5?
Basically, you can play 4-player co-op Fable. This is essentially, it's like you pick one of. I mean, they've shown us 4 heroes right now, but there will be lots to pick from, and they've all got their own kind of set personalities and their
Meaning classes?
Kind of like classes, yes. So you've got the first one we saw was a kind of Prince Charming rogue type guy.
Yeah.
We saw kind of
classic Fable hero.
Yeah, and we saw kind of barbarian woman with a Yorkshire accent, which is pretty amusing. And then there's the kind of third-person shooter guy who's like the arrow person. So and then you've got the mage who is very much a support class. So the 4 different heroes that we've seen in the trailer and in the gameplay are very, very different. Firstly, how they look. Secondly, they've all got different personalities and stories. And then thirdly, how they actually play together with 4 people. But here's the clincher.
Yeah.
There's a 5th player.
Who?
The 5th player is the villain.
I don't know what that means. Tell me what that means.
So where you've always had the chance in Fable to be good or evil.
Yes.
Now, if you're good, then you're one of the heroes.
Yes.
If you're evil, you're actually the villain. So the player who's playing the villain has like a top-down RTS-style perspective on the level and gets to physically place the traps, the enemies, and kind of direct what happens to the heroes.
Almost like a dungeon master.
Exactly. And if you imagine the kind of classic villain atop the Sauron kind of style villain atop the ivory tower watching over the battlefield and ordering like the red caps and the trolls and the ogres to kind of come out and smash things. That is you. It's the classic kind of cackling atop a tower villain. And so, whenever you're playing a quest, you're usually working towards like a dungeon, and the dungeon's kind of the home of the villain, as it were.
Right. It's almost like, it's funny, Peter Molyneux, of course, the founder of Lionhead, legendary game designer, and friend of IGN, left Lionhead some time ago, but this is almost sounding like Fable mixed with one of Peter's other most famous games, Dungeon Keeper.
That's right. Or indeed Black and White, seeing as you put that.
Yeah, that's true.
Top down, put a
so,
over the level.
So you don't choose good or evil, or you don't organically develop it, you choose it up front. What about dogs have become a signature item of Fable, signature character. What are they? Do they factor into this?
Well, I asked if we get pets, because obviously pets are a huge deal. And animals have always been a huge deal in Albion, they're part of the character of the place. And they said no comment, but I think we can safely assume that like part of your character progression will be your pet.
I hope so.
That would be great. So I really hope that turns out to be in the final game. I mean, obviously all we've seen right now is very, very early. It's made in Unreal Engine 4. I mean, it looks gorgeous. It looks really great.
Yeah, Unreal 4, there were some job listings hinting at that effect to Lionhead for a while.
So Albion is like, I mean, it's always been kind of a fantastical, idealized version of kind of England's green and pleasant land. And it's still very much like that. Because they're not an MMO, they're actually not limited in several ways that MMOs are. For instance, they don't have to create a gigantic, enormous world that can support hundreds and hundreds of hours of gameplay for thousands of players. So they can still make these self-contained kind of levels, these quests, and they can still have the same attention to detail in like the art style and in the assets and in the character design. So it still looks, I mean, basically what Lionhead said to me was we're trying to make the best looking online fantasy world. And at the moment, it is definitely the best-looking online fantasy world. It's got that Fable character through and through.
Excellent.
The characters, the heroes all kind of chat to each other and they smack talk, and the enemies aren't just mindless mobs. They're
how about the classic Fable expressions, middle finger, belching, all that stuff? Is that all still in there?
They've not shown us, but yeah, they're in there.
Excellent.
They're in there. They said so.
So the villain stuff and almost RTS type role seems like Microsoft is really big on the SmartGlass thing, the second screen now. It seems like a good fit for that. Is that something they're up to as well?
Well, on the on SmartGlass, you can use your iPad or your Surface or whatever to control if you're the villain. To control where you place things, and that top-down RTS perspective actually works pretty well for that. Yeah. You can also use it for a local co-op. So say you and me want to play.
That's cool.
Villain. I can sit there hiding my screen from you and placing things. And the Lionhead said that it will be quite easy to be the villain if you want. Like there'll be preset loadouts. You can just be like, if you seem to be struggling with it, the game will be like, do you want to do this? Do you want to do this? Or just like this button will just be a kind of aggressive loadout. This will be a defensive one, so on, so on. But if you pay attention to what's going on and you watch, because you watch the heroes in real time, you see what they're doing. You can actually adapt what's happening in the level. So if you see 2 guys going over here and they're working well together, you can bring down a gate to like shut them off from the other 2 and try and divide and conquer that way. And you can also, choose when. I mean, you can choose when units appear, where they appear from, that kind of thing. So the better villains, like the people who are going to get really good and really into being the villain, are going to really get involved in directing. Whereas if you're kind of getting used to the game, or you just need a quick fix, then you can let the game kind of decide for you and guide it from there.
So any release? Did they mention any hint of any release date whatsoever?
Nothing whatsoever.
Not committal.
Not even got a year. So, but I mean, obviously it's not this year. Like clearly.
Sure.
I think at the earliest we'll probably see it towards the end of next year. That would be my conservative estimate.
Well, it's announced. You got to see it, so we'll go read your preview on IGN. And for more on all things Fable Legends, you're already in the right place. IGN.